Hey, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. My name is Shaymat, and welcome back to Illogical Logic. So, today's topic is going to be about why is it called practicing Muslim? Why not perfect? I mean, that's the unsaid expectation. It's the implied expectation within our Muslim communities. And we don't even realize we're doing it, We don't allow space for mistakes. So I'm here to use a metaphor, okay? Two, actually. Because of two concepts that come with it. And I'm going to talk to you about what I mean by that. Okay? So number one. An athlete, they have to practice, right? They have to practice and practice and practice and practice what they are athleting about. It's not a word, but whatever. We're just going to use it. So if you're a runner, if you're a swimmer, whatever it is, day in and day out, you're practicing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Now, it's the same concept as a Muslim. You got to pray 5 times a day, every day, over and over and over and over and over again. Unless you're a girl, then you got some exceptions to those rules. All right. Why do we do things over and over and over and over and over again? What's the premise? The more you practice, the better you get at it. That's number one. Number two, what does practice allow you to do? What is it? What's the space it holds? It allows you to make mistakes. So an athlete, when they're practicing and practice, that's where you make all the mistakes, all of it. No judgment. You look at it from a position of, this is where I can improve in. This is where I can grow in. It's a constant work, constant effort. And it's the same thing day in and day out. And the premise with that is that why does it keep going? Why doesn't it not stop? It's because you're going to have to swim those laps every single day. You're going to have to run those laps every single day. You're going to have to keep kicking that ball every single day in and day out, because you will never perfect it. You will have moments where you're good. And you see these athletes sometimes when they compete, that's the big test, right? The big test is putting to the test all of those times that they were practicing, right? All those times that they were practicing, the real test to see if that practice, what it came to, what fruition it came in, that's what's up, is in that competition, right? So same thing as a Muslim, you got to practice day in and day out. Everything that you do, be it hijab, be it whatever, be it like salah, your fasting, charity, not being envious, not eavesdropping, not gossiping. It's a constant practice, and you're not going to always get it right. Sometimes you might have a good streak going for you. And the reason I'm going with this is that you will mess up again. In anything that you ever thought you got, you will always mess up. The moment you think you got it, and you're so confident in your hijab, you're so confident. No, you're just confident right now until you get tested again. So now there's a double standard that happens where we have this disease in the Muslim community called mislabeling, because we not only misunderstand, but we will enforce this misunderstanding by actually mislabeling something for what it's not. So if, let's say you mess up with your hijab, or you're doing so good, and then you went off of it, they'll be like, see, you're a hypocrite, you're munafiq. Your low-key secret was like a hijab hater, and you were just waiting for your opportunity to take it off and blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it's not a hypocrite. Stop mislabeling things. It's called, she was practicing the hijab until she had to compete. And that was a big test. What does that test look like? It could be family issues. It could be a guy she married that, she thought was, oh my God, he presented himself as, Jesus Christ himself, okay? And turned out to be a freaking Dajjal, okay? A little like Antichrist, okay? Dajjal mini, okay? I don't blame her. The guy presented like he was Jesus and turned out to be the Antichrist. And you're questioning everything that's happening, and she's going through a crisis of identity or whatever the case is. Moral of the story is that things in life will happen. Death, grief, loss, job. Maybe it was a job, right? She was doing the hijab so well. She was so strong in the hijab. She was constantly practicing the hijab. She overcame the insecurity of high school with to want to take off the hijab so she could be liked or appreciated. Or she got tested again with the hijab this time because she's trying to find a job. She's hungry, you know? So it's not that she's a munafiq, it's just that her test got harder. So the idea is that when you practice, Allah's going to test you. He says it in the Quran. You're going to say you believe and you're not going to get tested. You're going to get tested. And the idea behind it is actually to make you stronger, which brings me to metaphor number 2. So, which is a firewall. So a lot of big major companies, they actually do this thing called pen testing. Pen testing is where you get to be a legal hacker, a halal hacker, okay? They hire you for the exact purpose to hack their systems. Now, it sounds illogical. Why are you hacking yourself? Right? What would be the benefit of hacking yourself constantly, day in and day out? I'm going to tell you why. I'll tell you why they do that. Because they want to see where can they improve in their firewall. They know they can never relax, because the moment they do, someone's eventually, it's just a matter of time, tick, 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 before they crack the code. So by having someone constantly attacking your own system is to actually make it stronger so that you know where you're actually weak. So the genius part about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that absolutely floors and amazes me is when we think about shaitan constantly on us like crazy. Like people say, why did Allah create the devil? What would be the purpose? What is the benefit? Why do we have to go through pain? Why do we have to go through problems? Like we all try to put this thing of we should avoid problems. Like we're supposed to like recreate Jannah in this life where it doesn't have the foundation and the capacity to be able to handle it. You know what I'm saying? Why is there so much evil? Well, I'll tell you. What happens when shaitan's always on your case trying to crack the firewall of your iman? Okay? It's for the purpose to show you where in your iman that you've been practicing on making it strong, where it can get, where he was able to penetrate. So this is an opportunity. If you were strong in your hijab before and you took it off, or your salah game was strong and then it was weak. If your tawakkul game logically was strong, but your emotional tawakkul was not even existent, okay? It's an opportunity for you to look at shaitan is there to test me, and Allah is allowing him, not because he's allowing shaitan to be a little shoo-shoo running around, a little bit of fitna kazer. That's not the reason. Allah is allowing shaitan or allowing these issues to happen to me because I'm building the firewall of my iman. I'm building my firewall of my hijab. I'm building my firewall of my prayer. So if we switch our mindset and flip it into this logical state of Allah wanting the best for us, we would look at it as this is actually amazing. Because had I not been tested, had I not been, had been tested with all these things throughout my life, I wouldn't have known that there was this chink in my armor, right? So that's the purpose behind it, right? So stop mislabeling people for saying, oh, you're a hypocrite. You used to go to the masjid. You used to be this. Because sometimes that person is like, yeah, I used to, and I don't understand why I'm not doing it no more, right? Islam doesn't destroy us. It's the Muslims not practicing Islam correctly. But then you're like, Shema, well then if we're all constantly practicing and we're making all these mistakes as Muslims, then obviously then it's going to be misrepresented. Well, no, actually, it's not really going to be misrepresented, and I'll tell you why. Because if we had more integrity and honesty and more than honesty, transparency. So for example, if we're making a mistake, somebody corrects us, or vice versa, or somebody says, oh, Muslims do that, I didn't know that. Say for example, it's drinking. Or, you know what I mean? Or, and you're like, yeah, we're not supposed to. I'm actually struggling with an alcohol addiction. Done. Islam's integrity is saved. Not that it needs your honesty for it to be, saved. But I'm just saying, like, it takes away that argument from, well, that Muslim does it, how come you don't do it? Right? So if we just start owning up our mistakes, right? It's not easy. And I'm not saying that go start flaunting your sins for the world. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if there is something you're doing and it's public, right? Or it's in a position where it's just obviously you want to do your best to not sit there and promote bad things or whatever. But I'm just saying we need to have these conversations. We need to be able to, if somebody tells me, why are you not wearing hijab properly? How come this person doesn't wear hijab and they're Muslim? That person who's not wearing hijab saying, oh, I don't have to in Islam. It's just a choice. She's just being an extremist. That Muslim girl just threw me under the bus, making me sound like I'm an extremist, and she's the one lying the whole time, and she gets away with it because she gets to, look Western as hell or whatever the case is. So, or more than that, it's more like she gets the, because she has this idea or perceived notion of privilege or freedom that she must be free and I must be oppressed. But the reality is not. Just be straight up. Be like, I am a Muslim. Hijab is something I'm supposed to practice. I am not. And I have my reasons for that. If you don't want to share, you don't want to share. If it's what, but don't sit there and start misquoting and lying on the religion so that you can feel better about yourself or whatever the case is, or just to get a, like, you know what I mean? Like, we got to be straight up about things. And people, they get mad when you talk about that because they're like, because we associate for some reason, like you praying or you wearing hijab equals a good person. You're basically this angel, okay? And that's it. That's the problem, is that no, just because I wear hijab, just because I practice doesn't make me a good person, right? Because you always hear that argument. Oh, you know how many niqabis I know that, you know, they cover on the outside, but you know, behind closed doors, mishafa wash. Or oh, you know how many beards longer than Dumbledore himself, and the guy is like a shaitan narcissist. Bro, I heard it, but that doesn't mean that what he or she did doesn't justify that Islam, what Islam says about wearing hijab or praying makes it any less valid because this person misused it or abused it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an illogical logic, and we need to start sitting with these thoughts and asking ourselves, how logical are they? Anyway, so that's today's topic on practicing Muslim versus perfect Muslim. You'll never be perfect. You'll constantly make mistakes. The sooner you accept it, the better. You know what I mean? So just because someone's strong today in their hijab or they're strong today in their thing doesn't mean that tomorrow that's guaranteed. You know, and that's the scary part. That's the scary part. And that's why we have to constantly not think that we made it, because we didn't. We made it the day you hear Allah, you know, the angel says, "Khud kitabaka bi yaminik," take the Quran, or take the book. Sorry, I didn't mean to say Quran. Take the book by your right hand. That means you made it to Jannah. Then you can chill. But until that day comes, you're not chilling. Nope. It's myself first, by the way. Myself first before anybody else. So we just gotta strive, and we just gotta watch out for everybody, and just understand that just because they slipped up, or they got a chink in their firewall, say alhamdulillah you didn't get tested like that. Be understanding. Don't try to judge automatically or whatever the case is. You know, you should be like, yo, what can I do to triage the situation? You know what I'm saying? You, as Muslims, we should be saying, yo, what's going on? What can I do to support you? What tools, needs, resources, whatever it is that you need, I'm here for you as your fellow Muslim brother or sister in the world. You know what I'm saying? And if that person's not ready for that, be like, just so you know, no judgment, nothing, whatever it is, I ask Allah to help you. But at the end of the day, I'm just gonna make dua for you. And if ever you need anything, if I'm available and I could do it, I'm gonna do it. And if I can, I don't know, I'm gonna connect you with somebody who might. And if I don't know somebody, I'm gonna help you find somebody. Right? So we need to actively do this. That's my point. That's today's talk. All right? Take care. Deuces. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.